Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user ThrowArrayMomBlog. I found my 28 female sisters 41 female mommy blog and don't know what to do. I've been sitting on this all day and would really love some help here. My older sister, June, has been living with me, my husband Daniel, 39 male, and our daughter Leah, 1.5 female, since before Leah was born. She had to move in with us around March 2019 because she lost her job after a fight with her boss and couldn't find a new work in her field, not many openings in our area. She'd been living with her long-term boyfriend before that, but they'd gotten into an argument of some sort, I don't know the details, and he ended up kicking her out. She'd had nowhere to go since we didn't have any family nearby. So I talked with Daniel and asked if she could stay with us until she got back on her feet. She could help me around the house since I was pregnant at the time. My husband works long hours and didn't like the idea of me being home alone, especially while pregnant, so agreed, saying it was a good idea. June had been very thankful for the place to stay and was a great help around the house, and an even bigger help after Leah was born. I still did and do the bulk of the childcare with Daniel right there to help when he's home, but it's nice to have someone else at home during the day to share the workload with, and Leah loves her Aunt Junie. The problem came today when I was looking up matching mommy and baby princess dresses since I was hoping for Leah and me to be matching queen and princess for Halloween this year. Yes, I'm one of those people who plans costumes way ahead. Well, I got sucked down the mommy blog rabbit hole and spent almost an hour looking through blogs and stuff until I saw a familiar kitchen. It was familiar because it was my kitchen. I know because I decorated my kitchen myself, and it's a rustic sorta country theme, and I have 3 antique copper jello molds my grandma gave me hanging on the wall next to the fridge. Plus, I could see the treat bell I'd made for our kitty hanging on the fridge handle. She rings it when she wants a treat or attention. I clicked on the picture and it took me to a mommy blog run by a mommy, name super similar to mine. The more I scrolled through the blog, the more disturbed I got. She had pictures of herself up in my house like it was hers. In one, she was even wearing one of my blouses. Pictures of her and Leah all tagged mommy and daughter, and even a couple of pictures of her, Leah, and Daniel that I recognized. I'd been in the photos, but she'd apparently cropped me out of them. What do I do? How the hell do I even broach this? Hey sis, what's up with this blog of yours? Why are you pretending to be me? Why are you saying you're my daughter's mother? When did you have time to wear my clothes and pose for pictures with my child? What the F is going on? I put down all of the info I could think of in my scrambled state right now. I don't think I missed anything. Any solid advice would be stellar. Thank you. Well, P, in my opinion, you broach this straight on. You sit down with her and your computer, you open up her blog and you say, please explain. And that's it, and then you just let her talk and explain everything. What she's doing is absolutely wrong, creepy, and potentially dangerous considering she's posting those pictures of your family online. This is something that you definitely need to talk with your husband and then confront your sister. There may be very many different reasons as to why she's doing it, but it doesn't justify her doing it. I mean, she could, for example, be doing it to make money, or maybe she's going through some sort of crisis because she lost her job and her boyfriend kicked her out, and this is a way for her to escape that. I don't know. The only way you're really gonna figure this out is if you talk to her, and if it makes you very, very, very uncomfortable, then you need to tell her to stop and take it down. It is a very weird way of identity theft, I think, but I'm not so sure. What do you guys think? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes, or what kind of advice would you give her? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Coulda, shoulda, woulda says, oddly enough, I've been in a similar situation. My younger sister was signing up as me on social media, doing in-depth searches for information about me, registered for my high school reunion, and the last straw, used her job at a financial institution to dig into my accounts and offer unsolicited financial advice. I found out when I couldn't access the group for the reunion until I had a friend check it out, and I was already in there, posting pictures and sending messages. I went with the nuclear option. I called her up and told her that she had to stop. At first, she denied any wrongdoing, but I had all the information right there in front of me. In the end, I told her that she had two options: stay out of my business and delete all the online profiles, or I'd call her employer and never speak with her again. She confessed to the non-creepy portions of it and swore she wouldn't access my information again. Suddenly, the social media accounts were gone. Then she was fired for using her position to access accounts without reason in an unrelated case, so that sorted itself out. I was happy I called her out. It made the healing easier. I had very little contact with her for a few years, but eventually time heals all wounds. I still don't trust her because these types of identity theft are truly strange. It shows that they have no boundaries regarding you. And Opie responds, "That's really messed up. Did she ever explain why she faked being you? I can't wrap my head around wanting to lie about being someone you know and are close with." Never Seek to Tell says, "Living in your house for free whilst lying to your face. That's enough to warrant telling her to stay elsewhere, minimum. Photos of your child online without your permission. Pretending to be married to your husband and to be your baby's mother online. She's lying to you, your husband, your child, and all her followers. Potentially monetizing, building a career using your life and resources. Yeah, I think you need to tell your husband and ask her to leave together. She's putting your child at risk if nothing else." Loxima says, "Speak to your husband before you speak to her. You should put up a united front and you want this to be a consistent message. She's massively crossed so many lines. It's time for Aunt Uni to move out and this blog to be deleted. This really sounds like a horror film." And Opie responds, "You're not the only person telling me this whole situation screams horror movie, and that's freaking me out a little, not gonna lie." Additional information from Opie's comments. "I don't think my husband would be cheating. I trust him. He's had to deal with infidelity before. His first serious girlfriend cheated on him nearly their entire relationship, and it really messed him up for years, so he absolutely despises cheaters. I think the only reason he's not complained is because she's been such a big help to me since Leah was born. I wasn't mentally doing great after giving birth, and having June around is a big part of what kept me afloat. That, and it was nice not to have to worry about breaking quarantine to get someone to help us with chores and childcare." Well, Opie definitely got some really good advice and some red flag warnings there. So now let's move on with the update 10 months later to see what happened next. Well, the last almost year has been a lot to process and work through, but a bunch of you nice Redditors have been begging for an update, though I didn't want to do one until things calmed down. But now things have settled enough for me to do so here I am. This is a super long one, so please bear with me. To start, June is no longer living with me and my family. First off, I sat Daniel down the next day and told him everything. I showed him the blog and he was incredibly disturbed by it and upset too. He didn't like how many photos of Leah were up online without our knowledge. We don't post many pictures of her, and the ones we do are on our Facebooks, which are private. He was worried if June was mentally okay because this was nuts to him, and I said I wasn't sure, but I was worried about her too. We agreed we needed to talk to her as soon as possible, so he took Leah to his parents' house to stay the night before coming back home. Then I contacted our parents for a video call and told them about June's blog I found. I felt like they needed to know what was going on. Our mom was shocked, but our dad didn't believe it, so I sent them a link to the blog. They were quiet while they looked through it, and I talked to them about how we, Daniel and I, were understandably weirded out and concerned for June. Out of them both, Dad looked the most disappointed, while Mom just looked stunned. I told them June couldn't stay here anymore because of this, but we didn't want her out on the street, and they said she could come stay with them. They wanted to be there on call while we confronted June, but I said all of us together would probably make her feel like she was being attacked, so I said we'd call them afterwards, but do the confronting alone. but they'd probably have to help her move her stuff afterwards. Then, after hanging up with them, I made sure I had my laptop there half shut with the blog open in case she tried to deny it. And I'd screenshotted and recorded countless pages of the blog in case she tried deleting to rug sweep, like some people warned me she might do, which ended up being a good idea. When June sat down, she asked what was wrong, and I asked her if she had anything she'd like to come clean to us about. She's still my big sister and I love her, so I want to give her a chance to own up to this on her own. But sadly, she said no, so I told her I found her mommy blog. She was silent before saying she didn't know what I was talking about, so I opened my laptop and showed her the blog. She still tried to deny it and said it wasn't okay that I was blaming her for this when we didn't even know if it was her doing it. She said she'd never even seen this thing, the blog, before, nor ever been on the site it was on. Daniel told her to get her laptop and they'd start typing in the blog URL, and if no shortcuts appear, then she was telling the truth. She'd never been on the site. But if one did come up, well, she was lying. She said we were being ridiculous, but I insisted she get her laptop and just prove us wrong. If we were wronged, then we'd apologize. She hemmed and hawed for a bit before reluctantly getting her laptop. I noticed she was gripping it really tight, and after she opened it and signed in, I guess she realized she was backed into a corner, so she just broke down into loud sobs. She started babbling out apologies, and I asked her why she did this. Why even fake being me and starting a blog? I asked if it was for money or something, and she said no, so I asked her to please explain to me why this was a thing she felt the need to do. She explained that she did it to feel happy, and that she started it a little while after moving in with us. She said it wasn't fair that I had it all while she was old and unwanted. I told her she wasn't old or unwanted. We love her, and so do our parents, and so does the rest of her friends and family. She got angry and said it wasn't the same, and there was no way for me to understand what she's going through because I was everyone's favorite. I didn't know what she was talking about and said I wasn't everyone's favorite, and that's when she exploded and said I was a blind a-hole if I didn't see how everyone in our lives always prefers me over her. She claimed everyone loved me more and I always got what I wanted no matter what. And I'll admit, hearing that set me off. I told her that was actually not true. She was the oldest, and if we're being honest, she always got what she wanted before me, especially from our dad. I reminded her that he's bought her 3 cars over her adult life, a $2,000 laptop when she started college, and even paid off her first set of student loans for her. Meanwhile, he never did any of that for me. I didn't get to attend college because I didn't have the money and didn't want loans because I wasn't sure I'd be able to pay them back on time. The closest I got to what she got was when our dad offered to sell me his old car for cheap and gave me his old laptop after he upgraded with a brand new one. I said I loved her, but I told her she had to see how delusional she was being if she thought I was somehow the favorite. I'll admit, this was a sore spot for me. We got a little heated and argued back and forth, so I told her she needed to pack her things because she couldn't stay here anymore. My trust in her was severely damaged, and I didn't think her living with us any longer would be good for anyone. That's when she started bawling and begging me not to kick her out onto the streets. I told her she wasn't going onto the streets and she could just go stay with our parents. They live a couple of hours away, so it's not like she was going to be homeless. She kept crying and saying she'd delete the blog if we let her stay. I refused and said she needed to go to therapy and not stay here. While we were talking, her trying to compromise and me rejecting it, she opened the blog and began deleting everything. She kept repeating through tears, I'll delete it, I'll delete it, I'll get rid of everything and won't post anything else, as if to convince me to take back my decision. I made it clear through all of this that she was not staying here anymore, no matter what she did. Once she deleted it, she said we were all good now, it's gone. But I told her it didn't matter, she wasn't staying here. That's when she got pissed and said, but I deleted it, there's no problem now. Like, deleting it made it not happen. We told her to get ready because our parents were on their way to pick her up and they knew the situation. That caused her to start really flipping out. She was furious that I'd told our parents about the blog and said she wouldn't be able to look at our parents now. Things got messy and police were called by a neighbor because of just how loudly she was screaming. The cops arrived before our parents and she almost got taken into custody for being too aggressive and not settling down when the officer told her to calm herself the first time. So we had 2 cops there while she packed her stuff up. And then our parents arrived and it was just a very tense affair. I told her that I loved her as she was leaving, but she practically spat at me that she hated me. That hurt a lot, but I tried not to take it to heart. A few months passed and our mom kept me updated on how June was doing. Our parents said she needed to go to therapy. It was a condition of them to letting her stay there. She started going and seems to be doing a lot better, but she still won't talk to me. Mom says she looks sad, but she also sounds remorseful when they talk about me and my family. So I think therapy is helping her come to terms with how not okay what she did was. And a couple of months ago, she finally got in contact with me, called and apologized for what she did, how she acted, and for saying she hated me. Talking with her felt nice. She sounded sad, but happy too. Much happier than she had when living with my family. Those who said she made the blog to cope were right. It turns out June was in a really not good place mentally after the breakup and being let go from her job. Way more than she'd been letting on to anyone. She also told me she'd been on medication for anxiety and depression before and during when she'd dated her ex, but he shamed her for it and eventually he convinced her she didn't need them with him in her life, which was wrong. Turns out the argument that ended their relationship was him being mad at her for being such a downer and making him sad. Yeah, so after seeing her therapist, she was put back on them and is doing much better, she says. So things didn't end all happy sunshine, but they didn't end as scarily as some people said they might, which is more than good in my book. Thank you everyone for all your advice, it really helped. Well, albeit might not have been a completely happy ending, but it is a positive one. Your sister is doing much better and she's getting the help that she needed. On a side note, that ex-boyfriend of hers is an absolute idiot. He basically kicked off this whole thing with his stupid advice. Anyways, OP, thank you so much for sharing. All the best to your family and hopefully your sister will be doing much better real soon. Now let's finish off this video with a quick story of petty revenge. This post is by the user the V8 Road Warrior. Spam call me? I'll have fun with you. Like most people, my wife and I get spam callers. Admittedly, we don't often get them, but when we do, we just hang up on them. Until today. My wife starts getting spam calls from the same company. And we know they're spam as they always ask for her using her maiden name, not my surname. So she says, I'll just get her for you, before handing the phone to me, telling me to do my thing. Me, with a very obvious, I'm just messing with you old woman's voice, say,
Oh, hello. I'm OP's wife's maiden name.
Hello, yes, I'd like to talk to you about life insurance.
Life insurance? Oh, well, you see, I'm old. I don't have much of a life these days. I'm 93 years old.
Even more reason to get it, to protect your family.
Well, as it happens, I don't have any life at all. I died 3 weeks ago.
You died 3 weeks ago?
Yes, I died 3 weeks ago. Poor old heart just gave out. The funeral's next Tuesday if you want to go. At the crematorium on Tardworks Road.
No thank you. Sorry to hear you died, and sorry to disturb you. Goodbye. And thankfully we never heard from them again. If we want life insurance or whatever it is you're selling, we will call you. Well, OP, that is definitely one awesome way to get rid of spam callers. Thanks for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.